You might have too many letters after your name. Hey there, my name is Bob Seebohar, owner of Energy Performance and mentor to health professionals, nutrition professionals. And today I want to talk about alphabet soup. Yes, the letters after your name. So a lot of this is going to be sharing what I did wrong in hopes that you do not have to follow in that same path. Okay, so here's the thing. When I was going through this, and this was quite a while ago, this is literally over a quarter of a century ago. I thought, because this is the way it was, because this is what were the teachings at that point was, okay, you go to university, you go to college, you get a degree, you get a couple degrees, whatever, and then you start building up the alphabet soup after your name. Because back then, the most successful people in this trade were ones who had literally a line of letters after their name, right? Now, do I have a line of letters after my name? Yes, I do, because I went through that same process, that same way of thinking. MS, RD, CSSD, CSCS, METS 2, right? And I've had a couple more that I've stopped because here's the thing. It's great. Now, don't get me wrong. Knowledge is fantastic, but the right type of knowledge is fantastic. Okay, so let's contrast this. Back in the days when I was going through this, it was university degree, get some certifications, keep your certifications every year, every 2 years, every 4 years, whatever it is. And hey, you're going to be great. You're going to work for someone, you're going to make a lot of money, and the rest is history. Well, things have changed, and actually things were changing as I've gone through my career also. If I could change, and I get these questions a lot from young individuals, well, what could you change? If you could change something now, what would you do? Well, here's what I would change in reference to this, the whole alphabet soup. I would, obviously, university is very important for health and fitness and nutrition professionals. We know that, right? We need to have a stable science background. We understand that. I mean, I'm going to argue that you may not really learn a lot in college relative to what you're actually doing in practice, but that's another video, right? What I will say is that certifications, I won't discount the importance of some of them. I do feel that some of them are fantastic. They teach you very good things. But here's what's been missing, right? If you would have asked me, or if you would ask me now, what would I have changed? I would not have gotten as many certifications earlier in my career. I would have pursued more mentorships. So I was lucky in that I was able to have a couple of mentors early in my career, and I specifically chose two of them. One was a small business owner, registered sport nutritionist, dietitian, who had published a few books, and I knew that that's kind of where I wanted to go. So I sought that person out and begged and pleaded that I could pick her brain and be her she could be her mentor. I mean, nothing really formal existed back then, right, in terms of that. But then I chose another mentor who was a little bit more corporate, if you will, right? Because I knew that I wanted to cover my basis, maybe if I want to take my nutrition that way versus a small business. So I was fortunate that I actually sought those out early in my career with certifications. Now, what we're seeing these days is that certifications, the alphabet soup after your name, listen, not many people care. I will tell you that. And I don't know why, because things have been changing significantly with that. What they care about, what your clients care about, is not your alphabet soup. I mean, okay, let's get over it. Like if people see that with me, if I do a webinar or something like, wow, what are all those things after your name? I'm like, it's just, I just went to school for a long time, right? That's all I say, right? Because what they care about is not your alphabet soup. It's what you can do for them. How can you transform their lives? And sometimes, listen, it doesn't take certifications. What it takes is experience. And this is where mentors and mentorships come part of this. Because listen, if I could do this all over again, I would have gone all in on hiring more mentors and maybe different types of mentors earlier in my career, because here's what it does. Not only does it improve your knowledge, but it shortens your learning curve on how to get from point A to point B. So maybe that point A to point B is attracting new clients, how to sell better, how to market, how to do advertising better, how to do ads, like whatever it is, right? The things that we don't learn in school as health and nutrition professionals. That's what you want to find mentors for, right? So certifications are great, don't get me wrong, but do you really need more health certifications, more nutrition certifications? If you already have one, two, if you already have a college degree, do you really need these? I will argue maybe some of them, because some of them are very specialized. And if you want to specialize in a niche within your industry, then yes, absolutely. But listen, don't just keep accumulating certifications because you think it's important to put all these letters after your name, right? What you want to do is seek out mentors, mastermind groups, mentorships, and you want to pick these people very strategically because they have to be at least a couple steps ahead of where you are, right? But this is where I think a lot of individuals make a mistake. You don't want them to be so far ahead of you that you can't even relate to them, right? So you need to pick your mentor, your mentorship, your mastermind group very strategically. So maybe just a couple of years, 5 years or so, 6, 7 years ahead of you, maybe somewhere around there. They can't be out of touch with where you're at. That's the big thing, okay? They also need to be able to guide what you need guided and what you need to be taught, right? So what does that mean? That means if you want to be in a private practice, you want to own your own business, look at what your faults are. Look at what your biggest challenges are, because likely it's around business, I'm guessing, because you're probably a great health professional, nutrition professional, absolutely, but not a lot of us know about business. We don't know how to break through that 6-figure ceiling. How do we get to 7 figures? We don't know that, right? Those are the mentor and the mentor opportunities that you need to find. So this whole thing about alphabet soup, like I said, I am not anti-credentials or anti-certifications. I think some of them can be pretty valid. I am against slowing your progression and learning how to improve your not so great skills that you possess. Maybe you don't possess them at all, right? Find a mentor, find a mastermind group. And oh, here's the other thing. By the way, I hear this a lot because obviously I mentor nutrition and health professionals too, right? Here's what a good question I get all the time. Well, can I just ask a friend of mine that's doing this? Like maybe I know someone that's a little bit older than me. You can, absolutely, right? But here's the thing. And I talked about this in a previous video on pricing. If there's no skin in the game for you, there's probably no skin in the game for your mentor. Think about that. What I mean is if you are not paying your mentor may not take this seriously. And you know what? You may not take it seriously either. If you're not going to pay for something, you're not going to treat it well, right? You're not going to be accountable. So you have to have some type of skin in the game. You have to have some financial obligation to pay your mentor or your mastermind group or whatever it is, a mentorship program, because that's the only way that you hold yourself more accountable, that you have more skin in the game, and you take yourself more serious. The mentor will do his or her job, especially if they've done this before. They've done this with more people before like you, and they're used to this process. Because listen, on the mentor side, I can speak from that. We have systems. We have systems to engage younger or less experienced health and nutrition professionals through their journey. It's not just like, oh, hey, let's talk on the phone. What should we do? If a mentor says that to you, stop, right? Find another one, because a mentor that you pursue should be like, okay, here's my system. And you should obviously interview your mentors, but that mentor should share their system. Like, oh yeah, here's what I do, right? And this is what I do personally. Like I've got a system where I teach younger health and nutrition professionals. But what I do is I build that curriculum around them based on their strengths and weaknesses. So I know the system from A to Z. I just don't know exactly what path we're going to take until we learn about your specialties and your challenges and your feedback that you want and where you want to go with your career, where you want to go financially. So with all of this said, let me just wrap this up. Stop chasing the certifications. Some of those absolutely are fantastic, but stop chasing them. I see way too many health, fitness, and nutrition professionals just trying to add more. And listen, again, nobody cares. Your clients don't care. Your clients care if you get them to where they want to go, if you transform their lives. And the way to do that is to learn from someone else. Okay, thanks for listening. See you on the next video.